Cause numbers 325-716 and cause number 325-718. Logan Moody case is going to be reset for pretrial diversion. Cause number 326-384, State of Texas versus Brian Edwin Chance. Your full name is Brian Edwin Chance?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Chance?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking, Mr. Chance. Your representative here by your attorney, Mr. Ryan Gertz. Mr. Gertz, you have an announcement. The case is on the court's pretrial conference docket.
I do, Judge. I think we may be able to get this case worked out. I would ask the court for another 60 days. If I could. We've got some additional items that we've gotten in discovery, and we need to review those.
Let me ask you, sir, are you going to set it on a plea docket or?
I can set it on a plea docket, Judge, but
Okay.
I want to get an agreement sorted out,
Okay, because this case is on a pretrial conference docket. That means,
I understand.
yeah. Could you give us a 60-day reset pretrial conference?
Okay, September 13th.
Okay, case is going to be reset to September 13th. Mr. Chance, you can get, once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
All right, thank you.
Okay, this is cause number 32792, excuse me, cause number 327-792, the state of Texas versus Joshua Strong Farrell. Okay, Mr. Farrell is appearing via Zoom. How are you doing, Mr. Farrell?
I'm doing well. How are you, Judge?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Farrell, you're here represented by your attorney, Mr. Ryan Gertz, who is appearing in court. Mr. Gertz, you have an announcement you'd like to make for Mr. Farrell?
Yes, Judge, same announcement as Mr. Chance. I think we're going to be able to get this worked out. We could put it on a plea docket for, say, 60 days. That
The
would be-
same day?
That's fine, Judge.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, that'll be, Mr. Farrell, your case is gonna be reset till September 13th of 2021. And your attorney will be giving a reset. Please stay in contact with your attorney and your bondsman. This will conclude your case. You're free to go and you have a blessed day.
Thank you.
We're on the record in calls number 329-378 and calls number 329-804. Both cases are styled the state of Texas versus Emmanuel Castro. Is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Castro?
Good, very so.
I'm doing fine. Mr. Castro, I see that you had a felony case set today as well. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Castro, what happened on your felony case?
They rescheduled. They rescheduled for the November 1st.
Okay, let me do this here. Now, Mr. Castro, on your, see if he has a judge's explanation in his, in the file. I see, because he's pro se on these two cases.
This is Emmanuel Castro.
Yeah, Emmanuel Castro.
There is
There is.
not one in this one. You said he has two cases? Yeah, the other one is Richard. This is 329. Yes, he does have a judge's explanation.
What does it say? I mean, is he gonna hire or?
He wants to reset this case to hire his own attorney.
Okay, so now, Mr., when was that signed?
June 22nd of 2021.
Oh, he just signed it, okay. About a month ago, okay. So, Mr. Castro, have you hired your attorney?
Yes, sir.
You have?
Yes, sir.
On the misdemeanor cases?
Yes, sir.
Well, do we have a letter from his attorney? We're gonna check, because we don't show one on the docket sheet, so we're gonna check.
Attorney spoke to the sort of, to drug impact court.
No, that was for that court.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he has to,
Oh,
he has to send a letter of representation to this court as well, we, two different courts. So your attorney is Jansen Bailey?
yes, sir.
That's who I see on the felony case. Yeah, he hadn't sent one over here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna reset your case for 30 days. You need to get with your attorney, because he has to send a letter of representation over to this court as well.
Okay, I'll let him know.
Okay, so we reset your case to, high.
August 30th.
Yeah, okay, case is gonna be, your case is gonna be reset to August 30th. You can stand over there on the X and she'll give you a reset. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
I have that too. Mine was about to walk up and up.
This is cause number 328-474. The case is style of State of Texas versus Carla Jackson. Mr. Jackson, is that your name? Carla Jackson?
Tyler Jackson.
How you doing, Mr. Jackson?
I'm doing okay.
Okay, Mr. Jackson, I have before me information which alleges that on or about October 28 of 2020, while you were in Jefferson County, Texas, that you committed the Class A misdemeanor offense of unlawfully carrying a weapon while engaging in criminal activity. Mr. Jackson, do you understand what you've been charged with?
Yes, sir.
And to this charge, Mr. Jackson, how do you plead guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Now, are you pleading no contest freely and voluntarily?
Yes, sir.
And are you pleading no contest because you do not wish to fight or contest the charges?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Jackson, I have before me a document that is titled to misdemeanor plea admonishments. It's also labeled as State's Exhibit Number 1. Do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And on page 2 of this same document, oh, he was supposed to put his initials, he got his signature. You could just erase that and put his.
This is where you were supposed to initial for no contest. What's your initial? There you go, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
Oops, sorry.
Okay, Mr. Jackson, on page 2 of State's Exhibit Number 1, there are a set of initials on a line next to a box check NOLA contingent, which means no contest. Did you place your initials on this document?
Yes, sir.
On page 3 of this same document, Mr. Jackson, there's a signature at the top above the line that's titled defendant. Is that your signature?
Yes, sir.
And on the next document, which is the trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature at the bottom of this document on the above the line that's titled
Yes, sir.
defendant? There are 2 boxes that's checked at the top of this document. The first box states that this is a plea bargaining case and you have no right of appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
The second box states that you are waiving, which means you're giving up your right to an appeal. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
I also have another document here. This document, Mr. Jackson, is titled the discovery certification. Mr. Jackson, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature above the line that's titled defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, Mr. Jackson, prior to signing and initialing these documents that I've just mentioned, did your attorney go over these documents with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read and understand everything in these documents?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in these documents true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
State, I have before me State's Exhibit Number 1, the misdemeanor plea admonishments. You like to offer States 1?
Yes, Your Honor, and also like to offer states to the probable cause affidavit.
Any objections?
No objection.
No objection. State's Exhibits Number 1 and 2 or admitted. Mr. Paget, you've advised in counsel, Mr. Jackson, is there any evidence that he is currently mentally incompetent to stand trial?
None, Your Honor.
Mr. Jackson, your attorney, Mr. Paget, has advised in counsel to you. Are you satisfied with his representation?
Yes, sir.
Has he provided full, effective, and competent legal representation?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Jackson, I will accept your plea of no contest. I will find that you are mentally competent to stand trial. I will also find that your plea of no contest and waivers were freely and voluntarily given, I will also find that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. State, do we have a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
And what is that agreement?
The agreement is 1 year deferred probation, a $250 fine, 25 hours community service, and forfeiture of weapon.
Okay, Mr. Jackson, the state is offering that you serve 1 year deferred adjudicated probation. During the 1 year probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $250 plus court costs, which comes to a total of fine and court costs of $592. You'll be required to pay a probation fee of $60 each month and a urinalysis fee of $15 each month. Now, your total monthly installments that you'll be required to pay for the month is $130 each month. Will you be able to pay the $130?
Yes, sir.
You'll also be required to perform 25 hours of community service. And as part of this plea bargain agreement, there will be a forfeiture of the weapon as a condition of your probation. And I have before me the motion to forfeit and what agency is this gonna be forfeited to? It's not
I'm
in
sorry,
there.
it should be BPD.
There's that line, you have to put Beaumont up there. Okay, thanks. Okay, now, Mr. Jackson, I have before me a motion to forfeit the weapon, and in this motion, it states as comes now, Assistant Criminal District Attorney of Jefferson County, Texas, and makes this motion requesting that the court enter an order pursuant to Article 18.19 of Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, wherein this court orders the equipment to wit, a Ruger 9mm serial number 383-48507. The defendant has been notified that he is entitled to the weapon upon written request to the magistrate. However, the defendant is not requesting the weapon. Therefore, the weapon is to be forfeited to the Beaumont Police Department in the state of Texas, wherefore the state of Texas heretofore that this motion be granted. Now, Mr. Jackson, do you recognize this document?
Yes, sir.
And is this your signature on the line that says defendant?
Yes, sir.
Now, prior to signing and initialing this document, did your attorney go over this document with you?
Yes, sir.
And did you read everything in this document?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in this document true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, sir.
So at this time, the court is going to grant the state motion to forfeit your weapon to the Beaumont Police Department. Okay. Now, Mr. Jackson, let me go over this again. State is offering that you serve 1 year deferred adjudicated probation. During the 1 year deferred adjudicated probationary period, you'll be required to pay a fine of $250 plus court costs, which comes to a total of $592. You'll also be required to pay $6 a month probation fee of $15 each month, and your analysis fee, and it comes to a total monthly installments of $130 each month. You will perform 25 hours of community service, and the weapon in this case will be forfeited to the Beaumont Police Department. You will also be required to adhere to the other standard terms and conditions of probation. Mr. Jackson, do you understand the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
And do you think that the state's offer in your case is fair and just?
Yes, sir.
And do you accept the state's offer?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Jackson, I'll follow the plea bargain agreement that you have entered into with the state. Mr. Jackson, you're gonna, if you successfully complete the probationary period, this case will be dismissed. It would not appear as a conviction on your record, and you may qualify for non-disclosure. You can talk to your attorney about the non-disclosure. He's quite competent in those matters. So, Mr. Jackson, please stand on the X next to your attorney, follow the directions of our clerk. Once you finish following those directions, you'll be free to go. You need to keep a copy of that judgment because it's gonna take some time before the warrant
Yeah, you
is,
to hang on to this judgment, the paperwork will take hours in the process and get in the system. So if you were stopped or anything like that, you want to make sure you have that.
So, Mr. Jackson, can I go ahead and get your right thumbprint on that blue light? Go ahead and remove it.
Grab that pen.
Jackson, go ahead and sign that pad for me. You won't be able to see it, but I will. And then Mr. Paget. And then given deferred adjudication or regular probation for felony or misdemeanor, and this or another state. Okay, and you have no pending charges that you're aware of.
Put it in the phone.
Right, yeah. All right, so you're just gonna report to this address and, you're good to go.
yeah. Gotta get your guys. Is that Jason Doyle
No, sir.
and Joseph Brown?
Jason's warrant was set for 1:30. He has a felony set for trial today. I'm not on his felony, but Mr. Brown does have felony that's set for.
Oh, August 6th. Is Mr. Brown here?
Yes, Mr. Brown.
Mr. Brown, would you come forward? This is cause number 325-978, State of Texas versus Joseph Jamal Brown. Mr. Brown, is that your full name?
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Mr. Brown?
I'm fine.
That's good. Mr. Brown, you're here represented by your attorney, Attorney Alvin Sammy. Attorney Sammy, how you doing?
I'm great, Your Honor. How are you, sir?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for asking. Mr. Sammy, you have an announcement you'd like to make in Mr. Brown's case?
Yes, Your Honor. We're asking that this case be reset after the felony so we can hopefully resolve both at the same time.
Okay, I see his felony is set for August 16th.
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
You want it set after the felony?
Yes, sir, Your Honor.
Okay, give us a date, reset date,
August
after
6th.
August 16th. Is it? Uh-huh.
August 30th.
Okay, it's gonna be reset to August 30th. Mr. Sammy, you can get your reset. Once you get your reset, you'll be free to go yet. And, Mr. Brown, once you get your reset from your attorney, you'll be free to go and you have a blessed day.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Right here. Mr. Doyle, Your Honor.
Okay, where is he?
He's
Is,
not set until 1:30.
okay, but he's supposed to be here now, okay. Okay. Yeah, but he was supposed to be here at 9, at least check in. Yeah.
That wasn't.
I mean, you can, would they put it, they sent a 1:30 reset
Yes.
from here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, well, he said at 1:30 then, okay.
Your Honor, I have a council meeting this afternoon. He does have.
He could have, he could appear by Zoom. Or, I mean, if you want to give him a call, if you want to do it before 1:30, he could appear by Zoom or telephone.
Okay, I'll try to make contact. and get
Yeah.
that arranged.
And then we'll just follow, I guess, what happens in the felony case.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay,